Hi folks. Well, I ended up taking a closer look at Twitter this past week because some things had changed on my Twitter account, I noticed, as far as activity, and I wondered if maybe I was shadow banned. So I went over to this website here, shadowban.eu, and I put my Twitter account name in there and went on and took a look at the results. And it looks like, yep, I've been shadow banned. Now, the only reason I have to come here and check this out is because you can't, communicate directly with Twitter and ask them. So you're usually left in a state of mystery as exactly what's going on. And, really, I kind of look at it as a misinformation campaign that they do, because they don't tell the account user what's going on. They don't even tell the other users what's going on. But what the other users will notice is I'm not indexed in search results. My replies are not seen. Sometimes my tweets are not seen. Threads that include my replies are all broken apart because my replies become hidden. Now, fortunately, it would appear that many Twitter users end up shadow banned for one reason or the other for the most innocent of things, one of which is tweeting too much and posting too much. Now, we discussed in my previous video about psychological operations using social media that, as Kate Jones said in her research paper for Chatham House, these social media platforms are designed to addict users to keep using it. And once they get into the swing of things, as in my example and others, well, then they end up shadow banned because they're using it too much. And hey, I can't explain it, but that's just the funny reality of it. The first result on this check to see if I've been shadow banned says that search suggestion has been banned. This type of ban causes an account like mine to not populate search suggestions and people's search results when it is searched for while being logged out. Twitter seems to take tie strength or a similar metric into account. While an account may be suggested to users, you are strongly tied to it. It may not be shown to others. Next up on the results is what's called a search ban. It says here, this type of ban causes your tweets to be hidden from the search results entirely, no matter whether the quality filter is turned on or off. This behavior includes hashtags as well. This type of ban seems to be temporarily limited for active accounts. The next and third reprimand for who knows what I did is called a ghost ban. It says here that this is what is referred to as conventional shadow ban or thread banning as well. It comprises a search ban, while threads are completely ripped apart by hiding reply tweets of the affected users to others. Everything will look perfectly normal to the affected user, but many others will not be able to see reply tweets of the affected user at all. Reasons for this ban include behavior like excessive tweeting or following. Again, this type of ban seems to be temporarily limited for active accounts. Next on the list of punishments or blockades through this misinformation campaign for something I have no idea what I did, but okay, I'll guess and play along, is called reply deboosting. And it says here, if Twitter's signals determine that an account might engage in harmful behavior, Twitter hides the replies behind a barrier and only loads them when show more replies is clicked. Well, isn't that interesting? Nobody likes being shadow banned, especially when the truth of the matter is all these social media platforms have so many users now that they cannot manage them all with their own staff. So they depend on what's commonly known as algorithms or artificial intelligence to manage it for them. And, so when you try to communicate, they first of all, they don't let you communicate with them directly at Twitter. I tried and I was told, nope, they won't accept your message. I saw no email address. All I really wanted to do was to confirm with them that they shadow banned me because, hey, who's to say somebody's not going to run a disinformation campaign against them and tell users they're shadow banned when they're actually not, because the users will go around all over the internet saying, I was shadow banned by Twitter, I was shadow banned by Twitter, I was shadow banned by Twitter. And it makes them look bad. But they don't want to confirm or deny it. They don't want an opportunity to deny it. They really have a hands-off approach to the users for the most part. So they like the algorithms. They like the automation. They like the artificial intelligence. But the caveat is, all of that, algorithms, artificial intelligence, all that programming is written by people. Real people. Human beings that screw everything up. Make mistakes, full of errors. And, it might be nice if what they did when people have complaints is show a little bit of compassion when they communicate new policies and stuff, but they don't. It'd be nice, for example, if they said, I know this is going to be hard on some of you and it may seem difficult at first to accept it, but we don't really mean any harm to you. We appreciate the free content you provide. We appreciate the free data that you provide. We appreciate your free opinions and everything else that you provide. Just try to bear with us as we try to get a better control of things. That would be nice, but they don't do that. No, they don't do that. They release things like what they're not going to do anymore, what they're not going to allow anymore, how the policy has changed, what new rules they have. There's no sense of reassurance ever, because they really don't care. Here is an example of one of their announcements as published here at Yahoo News on their website, yahoo.com. And here it says, I'm sure many of you already heard this or read about it, Twitter details plan to ban political ads. And I think the reaction of a lot of people was, oh, okay, yeah, So you're going to go after the Trump supporters now, and you're going to go after Donald Trump now, huh? Yeah, we get it. Well, the fact of the matter is, I have read online from what is supposed to be reliable marketing sources that most Twitter users are Democrats. I don't know where that data comes from. I don't know if it comes from voter registration records or some poorly devised poll or what it is, but that's what I read. So it has you wondering what kind of bias is going to be involved in this ban on political ads. Well, I know one thing for sure if we take a look at the following. As they say, the devil is in the details, so as we take a look at the details of this story here about the banning of political ads, it says Twitter defined what constitutes as a political ad as anything that references a candidate, political party, elected or appointed government official, election, referendum, ballot measure, legislation, regulation, directive, or judicial outcome. Now listen up to what I got circled in red here in this same story. Politicians won't be able to run ads on Twitter starting November 22nd, 2019, but companies and advocacy groups will. Ads that promote awareness and discussion about social causes, such as environmental protection, will be allowed as long as the ad doesn't advocate for a specific political or legislative change on the issue. And finally it says, for example, gun rights advocates can post an ad but cannot target a politician with an opposing view or endorse a supporting politician. President Donald J. Trump, when he was not president yet, was already using Twitter and had accumulated quite a few followers. I don't know what it was prior to 2016 at this point, but right now his followers stands at between 66 and 67 million followers. Can you imagine that? That's incredible. So I asked myself, I said, I wonder how much that's worth to Twitter, because after all, you can't read or turn on the internet or turn on the news at any given time without somebody reporting on some tweet from Donald Trump. It even occurred recently at the impeachment hearing about some tweet he sent out. He provides a lot of free advertising for Twitter. Here's an article from Bloomberg.com from 2017. Headline says, "What is Trump worth to Twitter?" One analyst estimates $2 billion. In this Bloomberg article, it says the following: without Donald Trump, Twitter Incorporated could lose almost a fifth of its value. That's the conclusion of Monness, Crespi, Hart & Company analyst James Kakmak, who said that the social media company would see as much as $2 billion in market value wiped out if real Donald Trump quit tweeting. I believe it. With all those followers and every news network and publication and news website constantly repeating and giving opinion on his tweets, he's the master of Twitter. I mean, look at that. $2 billion in market value? That's incredible. This article from the Huffington Post about the same subject and almost the same headline in 2017 said this: in other words, it's not that Twitter would lose revenue or many subscribers if Trump left. Rather, investors would see the company as being less relevant and therefore less valuable. While we are on the topic of value, let's take a look at a 5-year history of the share value of Twitter stock. I checked this on November 15th here at Yahoo Finance, and it says here that the stock share at the time I checked was worth $29.25 per share. So I generated this chart here, and it goes back 5 years, and it shows you the ups and downs of the value of the shares. And you will notice that it started to go down as we approached the 2016 elections. I don't know why. They know why, and maybe that has something to do with their limitations on the political ads. I suspect they probably had quite a few. But during that time, stock shares went down. And they stayed down there. They didn't start climbing back up again until 2018. And they went up and spiked. And then they stayed kind of in the general area. But look, now that we're getting closer to the 2020 elections, it's taking another dive. And now it's at $29.25. Now, it could be Jack Dorsey decided that based on a 5-year track record like this, he's going to try something different and just and ban most of the political ads. Because it's not always the case for a social media platform where political ads are in their best interest. I guess it works well for Facebook, but in the case of Twitter, not so much. There are a number of businesses online that what they do is they take a fee from you well-funded Twitter account holders, and they will boost your exposure and boost your presence and boost your followers and yada yada yada, and keep you out of trouble and try to give you an edge above everybody else. And on this page here they have 25 Twitter stats all marketers need to know in 2020. So we're going to take a break here, and I'm going to show you a little montage of those facts and stats that they want to show marketers so they can see that there is information that they have at Hootsuite that can benefit them. Here's a nice profile of Twitter as a business at Yahoo Finance. You see their stock share value at $29.25, and that was seen on November 15th. You see the address of their headquarters in San Francisco, California. You know, the place Nancy Pelosi's stomping ground. You also see a list of their key executives, of course, with Jack Dorsey there at the top. Here are some more details about Twitter as a business and how much money they make, as published by Yahoo Finance. Profit margin, 47.67%. Operating margin, 12.64%. And in the previous 12 months prior to this report here, their revenue was $3.36 billion. Let me say that again. $3.36 billion, with a gross profit in those same 12 months as $2.08 billion. That's rather incredible, I think, for a business that has so many users now. They simply have people churn out algorithms and programming and artificial intelligence to regulate the users, tell the users what they can't do, reprimand the users, and just sit back and watch the money come right in. Here's a list of the top institutional shareholders of Twitter stock. Vanguard Group is number one. They own 81.5 million shares of Twitter stock with a value of $3,360,777,400. And if you know anything about Vanguard Group, you know that they don't have that so they can just tell Twitter what to do. They have it to finance mutual funds, and they like to own stock shares that back up their mutual funds because it allows them better control and also better tracking of what's going on with those shares. While I was on the internet about Twitter, I thought I'd go to opensecrets.org and take a look at who is donating the biggest dollars to the Democrats and the liberals. And so I take a look here at the top individual contributors of the 2018 election cycle. If you thought George Soros had the most influence financially on the Democrats and the liberals, well, you'd be wrong, because look at it here. Michael Bloomberg, the guy that is supposedly going to join the political race for the presidency in 2020 on the side of the Democrats, is number 2 on the list. Michael Bloomberg, New York, who donated to the Democrats and the liberal causes $94,837,766. Oh, and look, he was kind enough to give $5,400 to the Republicans and conservatives. Isn't that nice of him? What a chunk of money. Look down at George Soros, number 7. In comparison to Michael Bloomberg, Soros only gave $20,130,586 to the liberals and Democrats. How about that? These are campaign contributions. So, in other words, Michael Bloomberg gave, 3 to 4 times as much in contributions to Democrats than George Soros did. What does that tell you? Maybe people ought to be taking a closer look at what Michael Bloomberg's doing with his money. Going down a little bit farther on the list of donors to the Democrats and liberals during the 2018 election cycle, we have Alexander Soros, who gave $2,866,863 to the Democrats and the liberals. And go down a little far, and there's Seth MacFarlane, the creator of Family Guy, the guy who does all those voiceovers too. He's done movies. He had that weird television series that was kind of perverse about, a spin on those space movies and stuff like that, television series. I can't remember the name of it. I really didn't like it. Anyhow, Seth MacFarlane, here he is. He donated $2,758,500 to the Democrats and the Liberals. Wow, look at that. Seth MacFarlane. I love Family Guy, one of my favorite cartoons. Your politics, however, maybe not so much. And finally on this list we have Steven Spielberg and his wife Kate Capshaw, who gave just over $2 million to the Democrats and the Liberals in the 2018 election cycle. And, he has made some amazing movies. Some really, really popular movies. Jaws, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, a whole bunch of others I just don't have on the top of my head, but anybody can take a look and they'll find quite a list of successful movies that he has produced. And, here we have again, as much as I like Steven Spielberg movies and what he produces, I'm not so crazy about his politics. Okay, folks, it's time for me to go. We went over the Twitter shadow banning. We talked about their business profile, how much money they make, and who owns the most stock shares, and yada yada yada. The influence of politics, and about their political ad ban, and how valuable Donald J. Trump is to Twitter. And we also got off onto another subject, which is how much money, in the millions upon millions upon millions upon millions of dollars, some famous people are donating to Democrats and liberals during election cycles. Have a nice day. Nice to talk to you. We'll catch up another time. See ya.